It's no big secret that professional wrestling, as an industry, places a premium on aesthetics. This is especially true of WWE, where all the talent and charisma in the world won't make up for the fact you look like a bum. And while the following stars might not have looked like bums, although one of them really did, they all changed their appearance in a head-scratching way that made them look a lot worse. I'm Sam Driver from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are the 10 worst WWE image changes. Join us!
Andrew, what are you watching there? No, Andrew, seriously, what are you guys watching over there?
Shush, Owen! Stop saying our names, we're trying to protect our identity!
Sam, how are you watching that?
Will you stop dropping us in it? They don't know where we're from.
You can't get that in the UK. Are we going to get a knock at the door?
No, no, no! We're using NordVPN!
Wow, so cool. That's radical, dude. So naughty.
If you imagine the internet like the wrestling industry, NordVPN is like a giant digital lucha mask that keeps your identity hidden online, keeps all your private information like banking and passwords safe from those dastardly dirt sheets, and it leaves no digital footprint behind. So basically, if you're looking for a lightning-fast tag team partner in these trying times, NordVPN has got your back. Not only does it look out for your data and safety, it also lets you shift your virtual location with one click to access content and streaming services exclusive to other regions, often saving you a ton of money in the process. Did somebody say cheaper PLEs? One account can be used on up to 10 devices, so no matter what you're using, Nord's gonna be there waiting for the hot tag.
Ugh. And if you're the type who likes to live the gimmick, this can mean things like cheaper flights, hotels, and experiences. Dig it! The numbers don't lie. Cultaholic truly believes Nord to be the best VPN out there, and if you try it and don't agree, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. To get the best discount on your NordVPN plan, head to nordvpn.com/Cultaholic. Not only will it get you a hefty discount, but you'll also get 4 free months off the 2-year plan. The link is in the description below. Thanks for your time, and a huge thanks to Nord for sponsoring today's video.
Cheers, lads. That's some proper good mucho content, ain't that?
Number 10, Superstar Billy Graham. Superstar Billy Graham had one of the most iconic looks in WWE history. Hell, it was so iconic that Hulk Hogan took it, and most of Graham's act for that matter, for himself. The man of the hour had the long bleach blonde hair, the airbrushed spandex, and all manner of accessories and extras such as his tie-dye t-shirts and sunglasses that made him stand out from the crowd. Superstar looked like a superstar, but when he returned to WWE for a second stint in 1983, he did so looking like another person altogether. Doing a new Karate Master gimmick, a much leaner Graham had shaved his head, gotten rid of the blonde beard in favor of a dark mustache, and swapped out his colorful garb for a pair of plain black karate pants. Not only was the gimmick wholly unconvincing since Graham had never taken a martial arts class in his life, but the new gimmick made him seem, well, ordinary, which was just shocking considering how much charisma he displayed just a few years prior. Superstar would later admit that his heart wasn't in it at the time, as he was struggling with addiction and depression. Number 9, the British Bulldog. It was pretty easy to pick Davey Boy Smith out of a lineup. Because, you know, it's hard to miss the big jacked up bloke decked out in Union Jack dress with cornrow hair. The British Bulldog lived up to his name by wearing the red, white and blue of his homeland throughout his career, helping him become a beloved hero in the United Kingdom. Whether he was rocking long tights or trunks, had long hair or a buzz cut, Smith looked the business in gear that makes you just want to go out and vote for Brexit all over again. But Bulldog, or some other jackass, clearly thought that the patriotic spandex wasn't a good fit for WWE's Attitude Era when he returned to the company in September of 1999. You know what is edgy? Jeans. And not just jeans, but jeans tucked into your boots and socks. Yup, the best that Blighty had to offer came back wearing tight denim and black work boots that made him look like, well, he just sort of looked like a bloke, didn't he? His decision to wear the old stuff at Unforgiven was sadly just a tease, and Bulldog's lamentable final run was visually summed up by his ill-advised image change. Number 8. Mideon. Dennis Knight went through a bunch of different gimmicks before he found the one that seemed to fit him best. The man formerly known as Tex Slazenger debuted in WWE as Hog Farmer Phineas Godwin, briefly used his real name as a member of Southern Justice, and then became Mideon after being kidnapped and brainwashed into joining the Ministry of Darkness. Mideon gave Knight the biggest singles push of his career, and he was given the European Championship. At this point, you might be asking yourself, how can a man who looked like this possibly downgrade his image? And the answer, I'm afraid, is this. Yes, Mideon got naked and we got naked Mideon. A gimmick that reportedly came about as a result of Knight's penchant for walking around Starkers backstage. Naked Mideon would do run-ins wearing nothing more than his fanny pack, leading to a match with European champion William Regal at No Mercy 2000. Mideon started off as clothed Mideon, but toward the end of the match, he stripped off and ended it wearing a nightmare-inducing thong and bum bag combo. And that, thank Christ, was the last televised match of Mideon's WWE career. Number 7. Kane. Glenn Jacobs was another who went through various gimmicks before he hit on the right one, having endured Isaac Yankem DDS and Fake Diesel before landing on Kane. The Big Red Machine had an awesome look, from the mask that was said to have hidden his facial burns, to the tights, vests, and boots that evolved slightly over the years, but always made Kane look somehow even more imposing. The decision to unmask Kane in 2003 was a controversial one, but he still looked like a horror movie villain come to life, although let's not talk about See No Evil, and he eventually put the mask back on years later. When Kane unmasked again, went corporate, and joined the Authority in late 2013, however, he just looked like a bloke in a pair of pants. The so-called director of operations swapped his spandex for slacks and dress shoes, which somehow made such a mountain of a man look thoroughly unexceptional. Kane now looked more likely to request those spreadsheets from you than set you on fire, and this whole era for the character is one that fans rightfully choose to gloss over. Number 6. Goldust. There have been few gimmick changes in wrestling history as stark as the transformation Dustin Rhodes made when he left WCW and went to WWE. In WCW, he was the Natural, a traditional fiery Texas babyface who wore Western-style trunks, boots, and vest. In WWE, he became Goldust, the androgynous psychological heel who was covered head to toe in gold and came to the ring wearing a blonde wig. It's a testament to Dustin's talent that Goldust worked and got over as well as it did. And as strange as the outfit looked initially, he owned it and it became iconic over time. And then in late 97, he became the artist formerly known as Goldust, a reference to pop superstar Prince, and it all went to hell. As well as doing awful impersonations of other WWE superstars like Triple H, Vader, and Sable, Tafka Goldust made it his mission to wear the worst outfits you've ever seen in your life on weekly WWE TV. Different colored hair, wigs, makeup, women's underwear, a ball gag. If it looked horrendous, the bizarre one wore it. And to think he's embarrassed by Black Rain. Number 5. Mojo Rawley. We all love Mojo Rawley, though I will concede that I perhaps don't like him quite as much as the previous voiceover guy, but it's fair to say the Hype Bros WWE career had its ups and downs. As far as Mojo's look was concerned, it wasn't exactly an all-timer or anything, but the brightly colored tight shorts and wristbands certainly suited him. But after so many years of trying to stay hype, Rawley snapped in early 2019 and turned heel. Obviously, the vibrant attire was gonna have to go, and Mojo did trade in his reds, yellows, and greens for black and dark blue. And that was all well and good. Well, the weird hoodie vest thing wasn't exactly good, but what was up with the weird blue face paint? Mojo himself was against the idea, realizing that he looked less like Bull Nakano and more like a bloody knacker. And luckily for him, the new look didn't last for too long. As a quick aside here, am I crazy, or does this singlet WWE wanted him to wear in 2016 actually suit him? Number 4. Zack Ryder. Perhaps Mojo should have had a word with his former Hype Bros tag partner, Zack Ryder, who definitely knew a thing or two about ill-advised image changes. Ryder, or Matt Cardona as he's known today, usually looks the business, as he clearly puts the hours in at the gym and invests in his ring gear and overall appearance. Soon after he first got started in WWE, however, he looked like Edge, because he was an edgelord. Sorry, I mean Edgehead. I always get those two mixed up. After splitting from the Rated R superstar, Zack continued to team with Kurt Hawkins and took to wearing pairs of long tights that, truth be told, were rather generic and very much the style that a bunch of no-hopers wore during the Ruthless Aggression era. But you'd happily take generic over whatever the hell Long Island Ice-Z was attempting when he went solo on ECW in 2009. On the third brand, Ryder adopted these rotten half-long tights/trunks monstrosities and made sure you knew that he was a douchebag by adding a see-through shirt and headband to the ugly ensemble. And this man was surprised that Eve Torres cucked him and then kicked him square in the balls at WrestleMania? Number 3, Dolph Ziggler. Nick Nemeth suffered through being Kerwin White's caddy and managed to avoid having his career killed by being in the Spirit Squad to come out the other side as Dolph Ziggler. And when you think about Ziggler, who showed rapid improvement during his first couple of years on the main roster, what comes to mind? The show-off's distinctive look would be one thing, as his wild bleach blonde hair and snazzy short trunks that typically came in silver or pink helped to set him apart. On the April 18, 2011 edition of Raw, Vicky Guerrero introduced the new and improved Dolph Ziggler. And let me tell you something, folks, this Ziggler was by no means new and improved. In a change that was forced on him, Ziggler now had short brown hair. He looked like a bulkier Evan Bourne, his opponent on the night, or like the cousin of Ted DiBiase Jr. or something. He looked generic is what it was. The dye job, which was followed by him going from sparkly to plain black trunks, zapped him out of whatever charisma he had and ensured that he blended into the scenery. It lasted about a month before WWE admitted defeat and dusted off the peroxide. Number 2, Chad Gable. With his amateur background and style, Chad Gable basically had no choice but to don the singlet like Kurt Angle before him. Add to that the fact that Chad's American Alpha tag team with Kurt's biological son Jason Jordan were reminiscent of Team Angle / the world's greatest tag team, and having him look like he did was pretty much a no-brainer. Gable did change it up as his WWE career progressed, however, switching to trunks when he began tagging with Bobby Roode ahead of going solo. During this singles run, Chad feuded with Baron Corbin, who made fun of the former Olympian's perceived lack of size. Opting to rise over size, Gable embraced being a smaller guy, rechristening himself Shorty G. And as if the new name wasn't bad enough, just look at what they made my boy wear. Shorty G wore basketball-style gear, with baggy shorts, a vest, and sleeves that did him no favors whatsoever. Gable would later refer to the whole Shorty G run as a low point, you think? And I'm sure a big reason was having to perform while dressed as an absolute bellend. But at least 3 people backstage got a good laugh out of it, right? And number 1, Karrion Kross. The Karrion Kross that ran roughshod over NXT was a killer. The beauty was in the simplicity. Kross was a big dude who was in shape, wore basic trunks and boots, and looked menacing due to his shaved head and facial expressions. And the presence of Scarlett completed the package. While reigning as NXT champion, Karrion got the call to go to the main roster. And since this was still Vince McMahon's show, there would need to be some pointless alterations, damn it! In fact, not just pointless, but deeply damaging and embarrassing alterations. For a kickoff, Scarlett was gone. No, sorry, can't have a hot girl by your side, Kross. It might just get over. And then there was the new gear. Oh my god, the new gear. The mask, the leather daddy braces, those little flaps that were added to his trunks. Evidently, somebody'd been watching their Best of Demolition VHS, or maybe Kross was secretly in the running to star in the Zardoz remake we've all been pining for. Whatever the reason, the whole thing was so awful that I'm willing to bet Kross was secretly relieved when he was released soon after.